11213A form. My name is Marisa Wallace, and I will be your guide through the exciting world of large meal planning. This isn't something we do every day, and therefore it can feel overwhelming. But by breaking tasks down into subcomponents and making assignments, we can turn chaos into choreography. Now let's take a look at that spreadsheet you received in the email. Make note of the column headings, indicating required information. Many of these headings are self-explanatory, like contributor or menu item. Some headings may need further clarification, which is why you are watching this video. Category helps us place this dish in the overall context of the meal and ensures a balanced menu without too many of any one type of item. Menu description might seem a bit silly, but we eat with our minds as well as our mouths. Anticipation and excitement increases the pleasure of any meal. You can be creative and have fun with this section. According to our preliminary information, there are no true vegetarians at our table. However, there are some individuals who are meat sensitive and may like knowing if there are any meat-free items available to them. The next group of columns will assist us in organizing the kitchen resources. Although there are 2 ovens and, if I'm remembering correctly, 6 burners, we'll want to ensure a sensible progression of dishes throughout our limited space. This data will be used to create the next form, the 112813B, which will represent the actual progression of kitchen activity throughout the day. Equipment requirements helps us determine what is needed to prepare a specific dish. For example, Derek's Turkish coffee requires very specific equipment that we will provide for both preparation and service. Other menu items might not require anything beyond a serving bowl. Some may require utensils that are considered standard in any kitchen, but remember, there are multiple dishes being prepared simultaneously, and standard utensils will be high in demand. Similarly, specific personnel can indicate if a specific individual is required to prepare the item. Derek's Turkish coffee is another good example, since he is the only guest who knows how to make it. If it is a pre-made dish that anyone can reheat, then no specific personnel need to be listed on the form. Use final recipe item to let the kitchen team know if your dish requires any additional item to finish it. For example, a cup of flour to thicken a gravy or butter for mashed potatoes. If you sense that the item you are asking for is unusual, or if it would be easier for you to buy and bring it along, then you do not have to add it to this list. Just be sure to remember to bring it on the day. Final prep allows us to know if there are any activities that are required before an item can be served. For example, I personally will par-cook my bacon wrap dates in order to minimize oven time on site. However, the bacon wrap dates must be properly finished before they can be safely served. Some items you are providing might be entirely cooked through in advance and only need a little reheating. If you aren't sure, ask yourself a couple of questions. Would undercooking my dish be kind of gross and disgusting, but edible anyway? Or more significantly, would someone actually become ill if my dish did not receive additional cooking time? Some menu items must be fully created on site and cannot be prepared in advance at all. It is useful to make note of these items, since they will likely require more attention, space, and time from the kitchen team. Method allows us to allocate oven, stove, and microwave resources appropriately, avoiding that last-minute crush. Estimated on-site time and service temperature are 2 data points that will help ensure that everyone knows when an item will need to be fired. Just a little restaurant slang. Items that must be served hot will need to be finished closer to serving time. Items that can be served warm or even room temperature can be finished earlier in the day. Finally, there's a comments area where you can add any additional information about your dish you feel has not already been addressed. You may have noticed that the 112813A form is not intended to represent all activities that are required for a successful Thanksgiving dinner. Activities like tablescape and fly killing can be assigned in other ways. This concludes this training video explaining how to complete the 112813A form. I hope you've enjoyed our time together, and although this was tongue-in-cheek, it really actually would be useful to have some of this information because it will help us organize the kitchen appropriately. If you have additional questions, please feel free to ask me or anyone on the kitchen prep team. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing everybody at Thanksgiving.